Hey guys, Mike Hedlesky here. This is the fourth installment of my Q&A series. This is the first one from my new house that I own, like a big boy grown up. It's kind of cool. I'm sitting here listening to some Built to Spill. I was unpacking some stuff, didn't really fucking feel like doing it anymore, so now I'm sitting down, enjoying a lovely bourbon drink with my lovely bourbon rocks in it. They keep your bourbon at the perfect temperature. So what I want to do with this Q&A is I got a bunch of questions from bodybuilding.com. I'm a pretty consistent member over there. I keep a training log on bodybuilding.com. My handle on there is Hamburger Train. You should check it out. Let me know if you have any questions. I try to keep it updated as best I can. Usually the only time I'm not updating my training log is because I was pissed off about something or the training didn't go well and I'm too embarrassed to put what I actually did online for other people to see. So I'm going to answer some of those questions because there's a lot of good guys over there, a lot of strong guys that have helped me over the years, given me some good advice. So now they're asking me questions, which is kind of sweet. But yeah, first off, I had two different suggestions on how to improve my Q&A here. Number one was I should improve the video quality. Well, as you can see, I don't have jack shit set up in this house yet, so that's why I look like the goddamn Blair Witch Project in your face. Well, like so some of the suggestions I received with that one were maybe film it in a gym, film where I train. I train in a lot of commercial fitness centers. I don't want to be sitting there with my laptop on the squat rack for 45 minutes taking it up like an asshole, because I don't know what other people's gyms are like. The powerhouse near me, it's got one squat rack. I'm not going to be a dickhead and sit there for, like I said, 45 minutes, 20 minutes answering questions and then doing my actual workout itself, and that I'm just not that much of an asshole. And well, number two, another hard thing is, like, I know in the state of Maryland it is illegal to film people without consent of them being filmed, and I don't really want to print out a bunch of consent forms for every dickhead that walks by in the background of the video. So that's another thing, and just if I'm sitting there with a laptop talking about lifting stuff, I'm going to get asked 10 million questions. I really prefer to keep to myself in real life. My internet life is a little bit different, I guess. I like doing these questions, and I do enjoy talking to people and things like that, but just not at a recreational fitness center. So anyway, on to these bodybuilding.com questions. Oh wait, suggestion number two, I almost forgot. I should cut down on the cursing. Apparently the cursing that I do in these videos is a little bit offensive to some people, and I mean, I know I should really like take other people's sensitivities and stuff into consideration. So, I know people get offended easily nowadays anyway. So, honestly, fuck that. There's plenty of other shitheads you can listen to on the internet. You don't have to find me. I mean, if you have a problem with me cursing, then you're probably a fucking asshole anyway. So, I have a strict code that I like to live my life by, and part of that code is I don't trust people that don't cuss, and I don't trust people that don't drink. Those are all kind of grouped into one, because if you find a person that doesn't cuss and doesn't drink, odds are they did something real fucked up to get that way. So, I apologize. I'm trying to record these videos basically the same way I have a conversation, the same way I talk. I really, am just trying to, just trying to have a conversation via these Q&A videos. So if I come off like an asshole, I apologize. I'm a pretty straightforward and honest guy, and I talk and things come out, and sometimes it's an F word. So I apologize if you are offended. You can always go check out Scott Herman Fitness. He's got great pecs, so check that out. All right, getting on to some of these bodybuilding.com questions. Number one from Bud Riser, which is the best internet handle ever. He just had a question about hand health, especially now with my training. Deadlifting heavy 3 times a week is absolutely annihilating my meat paws. Like I said, I should probably put a lamp in here at some point. A couple of things. One newer thing that I was told about, a really neat little trick. Soak your hands in Epsom salt. in like warm Epsom salt water for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It'll actually loosen the skin, pull away the callus from the actual like the second layer of skin, and it's a lot easier to scrape off with like a pumice stone. That's awesome. I was having severe hand pain for a couple of months, from pretty much like February, March, April, and then someone told me about that, dunked my hands in, scraped them off really good, and the pain immediately went away. I thought I had some nerve damage or maybe even like a stress fracture. Thank goodness that wasn't the case, and that's an incredible tip. If you just feel like your hands are fried, did a lot of volume on deadlifts, did a lot of frequency on deadlifts for a week or so. Yeah, I mean, really, one of the best things you can do for that is dunk your hands in a bucket of ice water, 20 minutes, sink it up to the wrist. You know, me personally, when my hands hit something cold like ice water, my initial reaction is to throw up. So you might want to have a bucket ready, you know, a nice bucket, decent amount of splash containment, because I seriously, every time, I probably soak my hands in ice water, you know, once every 3 months or so when they get really messed up, because it's the only thing that makes them feel better. I throw up into a bucket. That's just something that happens. So I don't know whether there's some sort of weird like neural connection or some synapse I got that's firing in reverse, but it makes me want to kill myself every time I do that. But take your hands out. Once you get the feeling back, they feel pretty damn good. So that's just something else to think about. As far as something, you know, you should really be filing your calluses down once a month at least, I think. That Epsom salt soak is one of the greatest things, one of the best tips for hand health I've ever gotten. Really, I mean, killing time sitting around watching TV, just kind of crush up some ice cubes in your hand, rub them together. I mean, that takes like 5 minutes or so. It's not nothing too big, but it'll definitely help alleviate some of the inflammation, you know, moving around. Something else too, Iron Mind makes those expand your hand bands. I mean, for any strength athlete, you're constantly in flexion. You know, you're always just kind of just crushing everything, squeezing, holding on to everything as tight as you can. That can cause some extensor laxity. I know when I'm just neutral, this is what I look like. That's not normal. Like, it should be, like, you know, you should be able to, even if I hang my hand, I turn it up, I'm still curled in like that. That's extensor laxity, and that happens to all of us. You need to, you know, this is super important, this grip strength, this is what everyone trains, this stupid dollar store grandpa, you know, rubber band powered grip machines, but you really need to consider extension, because I mean, then an imbalance is never good. So Iron Mind makes those expand your hand bands. They're thick rubber bands. They're not going to snap, shoot in your eye, and they're just kill you. But it's they're pretty neat. They're pretty cheap. I strongly suggest everyone that does a strength sport, any kind of consistent lifting needs to work on that. Hopefully that answered your question, man. Again, awesome internet handle. Dr. 220. Can you talk about what your progression has been like over time? Like 5 years ago, you totaled blank, just random numbers, with XYZ lifts. 2 years ago, blank with XYZ lifts. Maybe the biggest things you learned at each stage to help you progress, or any big setbacks, injuries, etc. All right, a couple of parts to this. My training's changed a lot over the years. I've been training for something for almost 15 years now. So I keep having my little lifting for training for something anniversary. I light a little candle, put it in a cupcake, blow it out, have a good cry, because I can't turn it off, so it's always on. But well, I know my first competition, I totaled 1,500 something. Didn't train for it. I signed up for it the week before. I was playing college football at the time, and I ended up winning my weight class in my age group, which is kind of cool. I think I'd had the highest total there. I remember some freak show kid showed up with a bench shirt, like 16-year-old kid benched 5-something at a USAPL meet. And I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing here? But still ended up doing pretty well, I guess, especially for a first time. But I'd been lifting weights consistently for a long time before that point. For football, lacrosse, wrestling, all kinds of stuff I did throughout youth sports in high school and stuff, and college. But after I got done with that, I had some pretty laid-back coaches in college that allowed me to go ahead and compete while I was still playing, and they let me kind of mess around with my own training ideas and stuff. So, I mean, pretty basic stuff to start out with. Same thing everybody else should have done anyway. Just lots of learning the lifts. Basically a 5x5 program, nothing too crazy. Like Monday was squat, Wednesday was bench, Friday was deadlift, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday were sprints, sled work, just stuff getting ready for football. So, I mean, again, nothing too nuts or anything like that. My set and rep scheme, I would go through, I would do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. Always pick conservative weights, focus on just one of those rep ranges each day. So like week 1, you're focusing on the 5 numbers. So I'd really hit the heaviest, like kind of a near 5 rep max, then bump it up 2.5, 5 pounds, hit 4, 3, 2, and 1, and just always try to move up each set. But the focus would change each week. So I mean, it was just something stupid. It's like week 1 was 5, week 2 was 4, week 3 was 3, 2, 1, and then that last week would be that last single would be the really near max heaviest single I've worked with. Stupid program, worked really fucking good. I smashed a 670 squat when I was 20 years old at the Raw in the USAPL competition. And I really haven't been able to get it up back there just because of injuries. I had a hernia, a couple of stupid back things like fractured L3, just all fucked up. So, I mean, and a lot of most of those injuries had to do with football. So, just started getting back around those numbers actually, and now I've got a hip issue I'm dealing with. I just don't think I was built for squatting, but not a big deal. I'm gonna bounce back from it just like everything else. So after I milked that for a year or two, I got into the West Side stuff, and that helped my deadlift and my bench tremendously. Squat, again, dealing with injuries. I just really like the flexibility of it. Really, I got a little too general with the exercises at first. God damn, that's good. I got a little general with the exercises, a little too general. I wasn't lifting heavy enough, often enough, and that was really the biggest mistake I made. I didn't have enough volume with heavy lifts, and I think a lot of people make that mistake with West Side. They work up to a 5 rep max, then they go do fucking lat pull downs or something for 500 sets of 20. You need to focus on your main lift with West Side or any kind of conjugate training, any kind of variations, and it needs to be heavy and it needs to be a lot. It needs to be all the time. That's something I've learned recently. Even though I'm beat up now, my squat, all my numbers are going up like crazy, and it's just mainly doing just the competition lifts, which is a big change from the West Side stuff. So I mean that's my next progression after the West Side, is this daily undulating periodization stuff. So I mean, from when I started till now, I've changed weight classes a couple of times. I competed at 242, 275, and super heavy. Just different totals for each one. I mean, I'd fluctuate weight so much, it's kind of hard to keep track. So, I mean, that first meet I did, I was 260, I believe, 1,500 total. Or no, I was 275 on the dot, that's right. So I just barely made 275 weight class. And that was a 1,500 pound total. My best total since then in 275 is 18 something. Super heavyweight, it's 19 something. I don't keep track of this shit. I only care. I know my last meet I totaled 1815 at 251, and that was my best body weight coefficient. And I hit some awesome raw numbers. That's all I give a shit about is the last one I did. I don't care what I've done up until this point. So hopefully, like as far as any big setbacks, I have had dozens of surgeries at this point. Injuries and stuff comes with training, like stupid strains, sprains, stuff like that, little aches and pains and stuff. Everyone gets those. You got to deal with them. Some of the more major setbacks I've had, fractured my L3, football injury. I took a helmet in my back, never got it checked out. Was doing rack pulls a couple weeks later, and then couldn't walk for a week. So that fucked me pretty good. Had that. I've had my ankle scoped because I had an osteochondral defect, which is a pretty rare thing to have happen. Basically, your bone dies, and I had 2 surgeries on that, an experimental one to kind of drill holes in it, get blood flowing back into it. Basically, it was a surgery to break my ankle and then go through that healing process. Then I had to get it scoped. So that's been fun. I'm just waiting for that to explode under a heavy weight again. That was another football injury. I've had 2 hernia repairs. Look like I'm going for number 3 coming up here shortly with this couple hip issues. I have a bunch of avulsion fractures that aren't healing on their own, so it looks like I might need some intervention there. Like I said, fractured my L3, broke my hand having a wall punch competition. I lost. Just other stupid stuff. Just over the years, just stuff that has caused me to not be able to train. Tore my hamstring and adductor magnus. Now that is a fucked up thing to tear. A couple of years ago, that knocked me out for a good while. Just weird, transient lower back pain stuff. None of this shit matters. I try not even to think about it or keep track of it because it does not fucking matter. Like, you either, figure out a way to get around it if it's a minor thing, or you figure out a way to fix it and then reset and move on. So, if you don't, you didn't really want it that bad anyway. So, just you gotta just keep going if you want it, I guess, if you want to get better. So, pain and injuries and stupid crap's going to happen, and you just got to figure out a way to deal with it. Alright, Cro-Mags. God, that's an awesome band. You've spoken about your current and past injuries almost as if you believe they are inevitable. Would you agree that a strength athlete operating on a high level should expect injuries regardless of volume, program, etc., or the fundamental do's and don'ts everyone should follow to lessen chances? Is there anything, injuries, the last question, have injuries slowed your progress to this point? Well, I can answer that right now. Fuck yes. It's just like dragging through molasses for the most part. Injuries happen. There's nothing you can do about it. There's literally not one thing you can do about it. All the preparation, all the physical preparedness you can put yourself through, you're going to get hurt at some point, especially with heavy training. If you're taking it seriously, you're pushing the limit all the time, something is going to give. You can have a team of doctors. You can have physical therapists. You can have, a whole just staff of a multifactorial training, like whatever, and you're still going to get jacked up at some point. The severity of it's going to be different for everybody. A major, a lot of people, I think a lot of people can avoid, some of the regular aches and pains people get by staying consistent with mobility work, ice baths, active recovery stuff, just stuff that, helps alleviate some of the dings and dents of hard training. There's nothing you can do to avoid it, though. If you're training seriously, you're going to get messed up at some point, and you're going to have to deal with it. So, starting out, learn the lifts, learn the technique. It's the same with anything. You wouldn't jump right into professional football or something if you wanted to play football. So, gradual working into stuff. That's definitely the biggest thing. Alright, speed this up a little bit, see if I can get to a couple more. Rags85, recovery. How long does the body need to recover from an intense workout session and cycles, and how can you tell? How important is active recovery? That is, doing a few light sets of weight during recovery periods. I actually touched on that on another video. I forget which one of the other Q&As. Active recovery is good. Pick a couple of sets, pick a couple of exercises that hit some stuff that isn't bothering you, just to make sure you're not aggravating an overuse injury. I know for me personally right now, when I get done my bench days, I'll go in a couple hours later, maybe in the next day, and hit a 10-minute circuit of just barbell military press for a minute, face pulls for a minute, alternate back and forth for 10 minutes, as many times I can possibly do it. And I mean that's fucking brutal, but it makes me feel like $1 million when I stay consistent with it. And those are just two areas that aren't bothering me. I do get some like anterior pain and stuff, but I really think it's because the upper back and the shoulders are lagging a little bit. And since I've been staying consistent with that pain has gone away. It's pretty incredible. How long does the body need to recover from intense workout sessions? Depends on the person, training age, all kinds of stuff. I'm willing to bet, the typical response to that, you need 72 hours to recover from intense workout, large muscle groups, and 24 hours for small muscle groups, and whatever. I mean, you can recover from whatever you want to recover from, I guess. So, I mean, a lot of it's mental. I really don't think as much muscle damage happens during low volume, intense training that people think. So with that being said, I think it's a neurological adaptation that takes place. So if your technique is sound and you're in good postural positions, there's not a whole lot of actual structural muscle damage taking place. So with that being said, you have to worry about cumulative fatigue. So I really, as long as you have planned, down cycles and stuff where you're really focusing on recovery and not just smashing, all the weight all the time, you can get away. You can really get away with training hard 7 days a week if you just keep the volume under control. If you're not going absolutely ballistic, like I said, on volume and stuff, you can get away with pretty high frequency. Same muscle groups, everything. I mean, people do it all the time, and you look at some of the dumbass workouts professional football players do, where every day is core, sprint, arm, bench, jump day, and they're still professional athletes and still go and wreck shit. Like, you want to see some horrible shit, check out that Ray Lewis training for his murder pentathlon or whatever the fuck he did. I don't know. It's god awful. He's like in a goddamn Pilates class in the morning, and then he goes and does boxing training. I guess that like internal shoulder rotation and just elbow extension just kind of helps his stabbing technique. You got to stay on top of that when you're a proficient murderer. But anyway, people do dumb shit and get away with it and still perform just fine. As far as for our sport, like our GPP and our SPP is the competition lifts themselves. So, I mean, I really do think there is such a thing as like neural fatigue. I don't think overtraining is a real thing. I do think if you are too undertrained to handle a program, you're going to get fucked up. But I mean, how long does it take the body to recover? I mean, anywhere from immediately after you're done to never. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Me personally, I think it's more mental than anything. I'm training pretty hard, about 7 days a week right now, and I feel pretty beat to shit most of the time. But I feel pretty good when I'm training. So I don't really know if typical recovery protocol kind of applies to a strength sport. I mean, you got me. I'm not smart enough to figure that shit out, and I don't have a lab set up to, draw lactate samples from a bunch of poor bastards doing bicycle tests or something. Baxter J44. If you had to pick just 2 accessory lifts for each of the big 3, squat, bench, and dead, which would you pick? Or in other verbiage, what are the 6 most important accessory lifts for a power lifter? Squat. I really like paused safety squat bar squats just because they are fucking brutal. So that'd be 1 for squat. Second one for squat, I mean, just a high rep regular barbell squat. It builds a shitload of character, that's for sure. So when you're banging out sets of like 225 with 50, and you see a little baby Jesus dressed up as Elvis, waving at you with a big smile on on his face, like standing right in front of you, you know you're getting some work done there. So that's more of a character building thing than anything. Bench, when I was doing lots of bench variations, I really like floor press. So my floor press went up, so did my bench press. I know a lot of people can attest to that. And then just close grip bench press. That fried my triceps unlike anything else I've ever done, and it really helped push it. Deadlift. Opposite stance for me, it's sumo. Sumo goes up, so does conventional. Vice versa is true as well. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You suck at one or the other for some reason. So taking the one you suck at and making it better is going to improve something you suck at with the one that you are more proficient at. It's just, that is the age-old training secret of getting better at shit you're bad at. So just keep that in mind. So sumo deadlifts number one, and then really just speed pulls. Just speed. I've never had a problem with speed off the floor or anything. I seriously think I could pull 1,000 pounds to my knees before I had to drop it. And I really think that is from staying consistent with speed work over the years, like power cleans and stuff like that, snatches. I really like doing the Olympic lifts because I think they do help with speed off the floor and just help in posture and squat and deadlift too. I mean, if you have a good posture when you're doing the heaviest fucking snatch you can possibly do, you're gonna have a good posture when you squat and deadlift. Let's see here. Oh, I only got a couple more on here. Ex Requiem asks, should I pursue my true love? You know, we only get one go at this crazy thing called life. If you suppress these feelings you have for your true love, you may not even have an opportunity to regret it. You know, you could a fucking meteorite could crash into your house tonight while you're sleeping, and you would die. And who knows? Your true love might never even know that you existed. You know, you lost your opportunity. So I say go for it. You know, next time you're driving past her place and you're like, oh, I'm going to go through her trash again, see what she's up to. Maybe try knocking on the door. You know, chloroform's cheap, so if you get rejected, there's always that option. So hey man, go for it. You know, like I said, you don't want to leave this world with any regrets. That's you definitely don't want to, miss out on this opportunity. So good luck with that, man. Seriously, I wish you the best. I like a good love story. Live to Lou. My question is, how much volume is too much volume, and to what extent is percentage-based training better than linear progression? How much volume is too much volume? If you feel like shit and you're not getting better, you're doing too much volume. I don't have a more scientific answer than that. And to what extent is percentage-based training better than linear progression? Nothing is better than anything. Everything works for a short period of time and nothing works forever. So, like I said before, I was doing West Side for a long time. That worked incredibly well for me. I won a gold medal at IPF Raw Worlds in the deadlift doing West Side. And that's not typically a raw training program that people follow, and I think that's just because of a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings with it. But, so, I mean, like, percentage training versus linear progression, the answer, to what extent is which one better? The answer is, sure. So at different points during training, during your training experience, during your training career, competition career, something's going to work, something isn't going to work. I know it's kind of a vague answer, but I mean, this shit is vague. Anyone who gives you concrete answers to a question like that is trying to sell you seats to a seminar or a fucking ebook that isn't going to fucking help you. So, all right, I'm done with these for now. I've been a little long-winded, probably because I slammed that bourbon drink a little too quick. But, hey, thanks for the questions, guys. I'm going to post this one today. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all the bodybuilding.com questions. I got one more that was really fucking good. It might be its whole entire video by itself. So that'll probably be the next one. So thanks again, and keep the questions coming. I'm going to start opening up for some more here soon. Yeah, guys, take it easy. See you later.